Hi, good evening, and welcome to our session of the Growing Brain, Unit 7. We're going to give you about 2 more minutes as we wait for other participants to log on, and then we'll resume our presentation in about 7:03. Thank you again for joining us.
My friend, I think we should start.
All righty. Good evening, and welcome to our session, The Growing Brain, Unit 7, Everyday Play. My name is Natasha Irise, and I would like to welcome you. I have been with the Early Learning Coalition of Broward for the past year. I have experience in the early childhood education for over 15 years, where I taught early childhood education, VPK, and Head Start children. I've also held the position of IT infant and toddler specialist. I am excited to be with my colleague today, facilitating this last session of Unit 7 of the Growing Brain. We have had a lot of fun learning about the growing brain and everything else we have passed on to the knowledge we have passed on. So this is it for myself, and I'll pass it my colleague to introduce herself.
Thanks, Natasha. Hi, everyone. Welcome. As Natasha said, we are definitely excited. Super happy that you joined us tonight again on a Monday evening after, I'm sure, a long day's work. So my name is Anna Avalos Atkinson, and I have been in the early childhood field for a little over 30 years. Different capacities. I've been in the classroom, have different supervisory positions as well. I currently work at the ELC of Broward as a coach, quality and education coaching specialist, supporting providers with their interactions with the children. And so, as Natasha said, kind of a happy day that you're here. But it's kind of sad because today is the last session of the series of the Growing Brain. Today is the second part of the 7th unit. So sit back and hopefully you will receive lots of good information on play. Welcome.
Yes, and Anna, we
Yes.
we have a later on where we'll remind them. It is the last session, but we have a surprise for them coming up. in regards to the growing brain for those of the participants who just took the first session, and how they will be able to continue on with the knowledge of the growing brain if they are so much interested, and tell their friends and their colleagues about the new session coming up. So we will give them more information later on, but it's sad that we are finishing this session. Every time that we start the session, we always start with a quote in the middle of our picture that really talks about what is it that we're going to talk about. And today's quote is, "Play is the work of children. It's very serious stuff to them." So think about it. It is a very, if it is their work, how important it is to them. So it's called us to be mindful, to really be intentional when children are playing, and how we transition them from the play, and how we not abruptly cut their play, because it is serious business to them. Right? So just a little thought, just so you guys can remember to, when you transition, prior to transitioning, to remember that. Anything you want to say, Anna?
No, I think you said it all.
Okay.
Play is the work of they really are working while they're
Mhm.
playing, right? There's so much going on um, during play. And so we have, discussed it during the last session, which was the first part of Unit 7, everyday play. And so we're going to continue that discussion today, and we're going to talk a little bit more about how we can support that play. Like you were saying, how important it is for us to be intentional and mindful of it. Okay,
All righty.
excellent.
So we go on to webinar housekeeping. We would like for you to click on the orange rectangle with the white arrow pointing toward the panel, either to the right or to the left of your screen. Click on the question triangle below on the panel to type any questions or comments that you may have. Your certificate will be emailed to you after the training. To download the handouts, please click on the handout triangle shown below on the panel. We have 4 handouts for you tonight that you can download. So as you can go ahead and download them. You can save them. You can print them. Just click on them individually, and a PDF format will be open up. Attendance and credits. All ELC trainings are for in-service hours only. Your training certificate will be emailed to you within 24 hours after the conclusion of the webinar to the email address you've used when registering for the session. In order to be marked as attended, you must log on to the computer or download the GoToWebinar app on your phone. Just calling in does not register your attendance, and you will not receive a certificate or be marked as attended. If we cannot see you, you cannot see us. Upon registering for the webinar, you've received a pre-test of 5 questions. We ask that you complete the pre-test and the post-test that will be emailed to you along with the survey questions, and then your certificate will follow. A little bit about 0 to 3. 0 to 3 has been in existence since 1977. They have advanced the proven power of nurturing relationship by transforming the science of early childhood into helpful resources, practical tools, and responsive policies for millions of parents, professionals, and policymakers. 0 to 3 plays a key role in ensuring that babies and toddlers get a strong start in the life by supporting their parents with practical resources that helps them connect more positively, deeply, and continuously with their babies. Professionals with the knowledge and tools that helps them support healthy early development. Policymakers and advancing comprehensive and coherent policies which support and strengthens families, caregivers, and infant toddler professionals. Their website is www.023.org. Overview of the Growing Brain. The Growing Brain is a training curriculum for early childhood professionals. It focuses on development of children ages new birth to 5 years old. It focuses on the brain and its role on early development. It links the brain, body, and behaviors. It focuses on effective neuroscience, that is the science of emotions and the brain. It addresses areas such as the structure and functions of the brain, factors and experiences that affects the brain, and connections between the brain, language, the development, and sensory functioning. It comprises of 7 units, and the units are as follow. Unit 1, the basics. Unit 2, the factors affecting brain growth and development. Unit 3, communication and language development. Unit 4, cognitive and executive functions. Unit 5, social emotional development. 6, understanding behaviors. Unit 7, it's everyday play. And today, our session is on Unit 7. In Part B, we are focusing on how the different type of play maximizes children's learning. Our learning objectives for tonight is participant will learn how different types of play maximizes children's learning. Participant will learn about the core skills children develop through play and how to promote these skills. Our reflection activity. Last time when we left, that was the reflection activity we left you with. We shared this reflection with you at the end of last session for those of you who were with us. And looking at this activity, we asked you to do the self-reflection that we usually ask. And the quote was, what children needs most: love, respect, to play, to have fun, to be seen, to be listened to, your presence, a hero, a fostered sense of wonder, lots of hugs, to play, the chance to make mistakes, encouragement to try again, room to grow, dreams, to be told yes, to be trusted, affection, guidance, to play. So we did act, when we read that, we did ask you what did you what could you have imagined within that quote? What is it that was the common thing that you saw that kept repeat itself? It was play. So how did you what did you do in the classroom that promoted play in your classroom? Did you change certain areas of your classroom where children were able to play freely, or did you play different promote play in your classroom? Okay. So if we don't have anything in the chat box, we'll move on to the next slide. It was just a reflection activity. Hopefully something changed in respect to this activity. Okay, so we will proceed by watching this video that is called The Importance of Play in Early Childhood. It is a video that really talks about the importance of play and the different type of play, and we ask that you watch it with us, and then when we come back, we will discuss that video. Okay, so this video pretty much emphasized on the importance of play and how children knows and loves to play, and when they play, they the importance of play and what they are getting from the regular play that they when they initiate their play. It talks about the different types of play. We the occupied play, which is the infant, the age group when the infant starts to play as young as um, and what they do by moving around, and they just move around, but there's no clear purpose, but they are playing. That's the beginning stage of playing. It talks about the solitary play, that's moving from 3-month-old to where children are very busy. They are moving around their own and most likely noticing other children around them. They moving from one item to another, from one toy to another, grabbing objects or picking up objects, I would say. It talks about and it goes gradually. It builds onto one another. What happened about parallel play? At an age from 18-month-old to 2 years old. And when children are playing at that time, they interact with each other, but they're not playing with each other. They are playing side by side with each other, their own thing. They're doing their own thing. Associative play start at the age of 3, where they are becoming more interested in the other person or the other child and playing together. And they pretty much starting to understand the do's or don't of play during that stage. Social play is between 3 years old, where children are beginning to interact with other children and playing, setting the rules and problem solving type of play. Anything else? And it also talk about the importance and what is it? It's not only that children are playing, a lot of other things are happening while they are playing. It says they are learning to it also talk about expressive play, how children helps express their feelings and allow other children to talk about to use crayons and markers to express their feelings through play. One thing to also note is to understand that all the different things that are happening is just these are important steps that needs to happen during childhood. And as children play, and we provide the opportunity for them to benefit from the play that they are initiating to do. Anything else I didn't mention on that, Anna?
Well, no, you recapped it very well. And I just want to mention also that this is a great transition video to today's content. It really did recap a lot of the content that we reviewed during our last session. So it's good for the folks that were with us, that are joining us tonight. It's a good recap, and then it's also a good introduction then to for the people who were not here during our last session. But it opens up a lot of good conversation about overall the benefits of play, and it makes a direct connection to the quote that we started the session with, right? How children are at work when they are playing. You know, they're gaining knowledge, they're learning how to think, to solve problems, strengthening their language skills, understanding textures and shapes, you know, developing their imaginations, being part of a group, that social aspect. So lots of good stuff happening during play. So, you know, there's definitely tons of benefits why we should be involved, right? And be mindful.
Okay.
Encouraging that.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay. So now we're going to go into our first poll for this evening. And the poll says free play means there's no scaffolding by an adult and that adults cannot be involved in children's play, free play. Is that a true or false statement? Keep that in mind because Anna have a tendency to put in words in there that could kind of like trick you. So
Trip you up? Never.
yes.
No.
So we're
No.
going to talk about free play. So please take a minute to answer the question and answer the poll whether or not it is a true statement. Free play means that there is no scaffolding but an adult, and that adult cannot be involved in the children's free play.
All right.
Oh,
If you cannot answer on the screen, if the poll doesn't launch for you, you can always respond in the chat. Okay.
yes.
We have someone that stated
All right.
false.
So we're gonna
Okay.
close.
All
5,
righty.
4, 3,
Yep.
2, 1.
Okay.
We're gonna
Everyone voted. Here we go. We're gonna close and share. What happened?
They
Okay.
caught on to you, Anna. Yes.
Weird.
And I'm glad to see this. This is, yes, it is a false statement because, yes, it does not require that the teachers scaffold. However, the adult can be involved in the children's play. Yes. And it's Anna put that cannot in there. Yes. So the adults
Amy.
can be involved, play along with the children, join in their play as long as you ask and they're willing to let you in. Yes, the adult can join in. Thank you for participating.
You.
So, what is free play? So, free play is characterized as pleasurable, fun, has no extrinsic or outside goal. It is a process, it's process oriented, it is involve active engagement, it involves make believe for children who are symbolic thinkers. No scaffolding, no structure or support by an adult. Now that we have gone through how young children play, we are going to talk about what kind of play is most useful for children and the role that the adult provides in nurturing the greatest learning through play. We will expose two different approaches to play, both of which have value as learning experiences, free play and guided play. The characteristic of free play is that, like we said, it is pleasurable, it is intrinsic, it is process oriented, involve active engagement mentally or physically. It involves make believe for children who are symbolic thinkers. Free play means that there's no scaffolding by the adult. This is the question we just saw, but the adult is able to join in the children's play. Children have total autonomy. They are in charge. This does not mean that like we said, the adult can join in, and like I said, you ask, and then if they want you to play along, you play along. It means that the involvement is completely led by the children, who tells you what to do. The child is the director and the actor of that, in the leading of that play. So, meaningful play. There are 5 elements essential to meaningful play that create those rich memory we treasure. Children make their own decision. Children are intrinsically motivated. Children become immersed in the moment. Play is spontaneous, not scripted. Play is enjoyable. These stages of play describe the developmental sequence of play, and it has a very important component that is that is a social aspect of play. So we're going to see what is it that children, when children makes their own decision, how does that happen? When children choose how to play for themselves, they experience freedom in making those choices. They also begin to see connections between choice and consequences or result to that of that choice. The type of toys or material parents offers can help them make more meaningful decision. Open-ended materials can be used in many ways so children can decide for themselves how to use them. For example, a child can imagine a block to be a fire truck or any number of things. A toy fire truck, on the other hand, is usually used as a fire truck. Form pieces like wooden stick, ribbon scrap, and other reusable resources are all open-ended materials that inspire creativity, thinking, and delight when children use them to make something no one has ever made before. Children are intrinsically motivated. What does that mean? It is the impulse to play comes from the natural desire to understand the world. This play impulse is as strong as young children desires for food or sleep. It is the intrinsic motivation that allows a child to regulate her own feelings and desires in order to keep playing. Because children eventually find it more important to be part of a play with their friends than to satisfy their own wants and needs, or at the moment, children learn self-control. And self-control has been shown to lead to success in later years, especially in today's information age where distraction are part of the daily life. Children become immersed in their moment. Is in true play, children are so fully engaged that they lose awareness of their surrounding time and space. In this risk-free atmosphere, their reality is suspended. Children have the security and safety they need to experiment. They try new ideas and investigate the law of nature. Although they are immersed, and although they are immersed in their play, children still can recognize reality versus fantasy, something parents often wonder about. Play and spontaneous, or not scripted. It is when it often play is totally unplanned. Other times, play is planned, but child impulsive makes a change. One child changes his mind, or perhaps a toy does not cooperate. This sense of unknown provides children with opportunities to develop flexibility in the thinking and decision making, which is vital for life's skills. Play is enjoyable. Play always have an emotional response attached to it. Without this emotional connection, the experience is simply an activity. It is not play. Enjoyment is the direct result of engaging in play. It is fun. These five essential elements of play outline why play provides your child with a rich experience. And isn't that what we are looking for as educators? We are looking for a memorable moment, to create memorable moment that children would say, oh, these were, like when we go older, you say, oh, these were the good old days, like we remember, because all these meaningful things happen when children are playing. They are able to recall those memorable moments. So as we go to our next poll, we talked about the stages of play that described in our previous session. And it is important to know the component of this, the social aspect of play. So remember, solitary play, parallel play, associated play, and collaborative play during our last session together, those are for those of you who join us, those are the areas of play that are that are important for children, that children do play. And then as they do play these play, there's a social aspect of it that that we foster at the same time. Guided play. So guided play has a clear learning goal set by the adult, which is different from the free play. There's a clear learning goal, and that the adult wants this to be happen as the child play. It is the as the child is interested on playing, the adult has already set a goal. For example, a teacher may ask the child how many cupcakes he is making for the dinosaur. When that question is asked, the teacher wants to see to pretty much for the child to show whether or not the child is able to count, or that one-to-one correspondence is that child pointing to each cupcakes as he or she counts. However, play is still child directed, and the children are actively engaged and having fun. Adults provide material, prompts, and scaffold, structure, and support to assist children's learning. In other words, they follow the child's lead, but are scaffolding to extend and expand on the play. So, and guided play is not direct instruction. Research have found that guided play can enhance children's learning when adults provide children with objects that promote a variety of developmental appropriate learning experiences. For example, providing numbers. Number symbols leads to children talking about an engaging activity relating to math concept, or asking open-ended questions about what the children are discovering to explain their ideas. Repeat or rephrase what the child is saying. Make comment about what the child are, while children are observing, to encourage children to maintain focus. Offer a new prop or materials to expand play. Ask I wonder questions, such as, I wonder what will happen if you use a bigger block instead of on the bottom, instead of a smaller cube. So all these questions, I wonder questions, is really providing children the thinking for them to really think, and then provide you with with an explanation. Research have shown that guided play can enhance children's learning when adult offers a new prop or material to expand play. And research also shown that young children benefit from both free and guided play, according to Golenskov. This is a good new research for teachers, because that is exactly your job as a teacher, to not to do both, to promote both, to exactly being able to guide guide them through their play, while providing hand, and then providing learning through their play, learning opportunity, because a lot of those play, during those play, there's a lot of learning opportunity that is there, so we do not miss out on those learning opportunities. So we are now heading to our next, her second poll about what research have said. Researchers have found that guided play can enhance children's learning when adults offer a new prop. We just went over that question, or material to expand play. Is that a true or false statement?
Okay, it's launched.
It's lunch, so go right ahead and please take a minute to answer that question. Oh, already?
What happened?
Okay, it showed on the screen and then it left again. I mean,
Oh, it's doing funny things today.
yes.
Fingers
So
crossed that it cooperates.
no, it won't. So 5, 4, 3, 2, we're gonna close.
All righty. And interesting.
We just went to that research statement,
Yeah,
right? And
do that. Yeah, we just reviewed it.
yes.
So what was the response? Where
I
what is
have my
it?
eyes closed, so let me open it right now, Anna. You
Yay. Open them. Wow.
yes,
Woo!
you all were following along. Yes, it is a true
Yes,
statement. As we
smart
put,
people.
as children are playing with the guided play, we are enhancing children's learning when we offer new props and material to expand. And we also have those conversations. Remember the I wonder questions always as
Mhm.
you can't go wrong by asking those questions for them to pretty much explain their thinking.
Excellent.
Thank you for participating.
Good job with that answer, everyone.
Yes.
All right.
So direct instruction. So we're gonna have a little chat conversation. And as we talk about direct instruction, please share your thoughts in a different in the difference between guided play and directed instruction play. So what do you think is guided, the difference between guided play and direct instruction?
Well, we just reviewed guided play, so that should
So
be
what would
easy.
direct instruction be?
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Is anyone, are they sharing anything on the chat box, Anna?
Let's see. Um, more teacher directed.
More
Mm-hmm.
teachers? Okay, so let's see what happens. So two studies that came out on the journal Cognition from MIT and UC Berkeley reach a similar conclusion that teaching preschoolers overall directed instruction is a good way to teach students specific facts, which can lead to higher mark of standardized tests. We talked about standardized tests, from our experience, right? It's drill, 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 just to make sure you get that answer right. However, it fails to foster curiosity and creativity in children, two qualities that are difficult to test and measure, but are undeniably important in student overall learning. Providing open-ended learning opportunity pushes students to reach conclusion for their own learning, like on their own, to reach their conclusion on their own. So in both studies, preschoolers were presented with a toy with multiple different parts. A teacher showed one group of preschooler a couple of ways to manipulate the toy on the left side and let them alone, of course, and tell them this is how you do this and this is how you use this material and giving them examples. Now, the other group, on the other hand, the teacher acted as he or she was clueless about how the material can be used. So the research came back and saw and noticed that the children who were given directed teaching how to use the material came back with the same way that the teacher had giving them. Whereas the teacher who was, the group where the teacher was clueless, they came up with a lot of different ways on their own, and they were able to figure it out themselves. And as the research shows, is that the one that came up with the solution, with the different ways of finding it themselves, kept the knowledge, and they were able to retain and explain, whereas the teacher was that when the teacher providing them with the information. So just keep that in mind. Facilitated and directed guided play and directed instruction. So we want to be able to pretty much guide the children. On the second example, the teacher pretty much guided their play, acting like as if he or she didn't know anything about it, and let them and stay close enough for them to come out with their own solution, or come out with their own way of utilizing the tool. So any example that can be seen in the chat?
Okay. So guided play is more scaffolded. Direct instruction is just that, direct. Absolutely.
Yes.
And that's pretty much what what is stated on the slide, where
Okay.
guided is facilitated learning, right?
Yes.
Direct instruction is more prescribed.
Yes, you do it this way and guide. Thank you for sharing. And that will take us to the next slide, which is the guided play activity. This is a handout that is in the participant guide. As you look at this handout, which is handout 7.1, Learning Through Play, you can either open the participant guide right now and pull it with us as we do as we are about to do a short activity on the next slide, or you can follow along with us as we go over this handout. Okay, so guided play activity, learning through play. We want you to play along with us. We're going to give you the first example. So we're going to choose one toy for each age group in the first column. As you can see, first column, you have babies, toddler, age 3 years old, and state what the child is learning from this toy on the second column. And on the third column, you're going to state how teachers can expand this learning through the third column. So our first example is for babies, a baby who is playing with a ball. So the ball is the object the baby is playing with, and the baby is throwing the ball or manipulating the ball with not yet throwing, but manipulating the ball with his finger, with his hand. So what are the skills that what is the skill that the baby is building on right now as the baby is playing with the ball? So we have fine motor skills, enhanced motor skills. So as the educator, as the parent, as the teacher, so I will take the ball and then proceed by rolling the ball to the baby, and then waiting, and then rolling the ball back. And then what am I facilitating? I'm facilitating social skills by showing the baby how you are able to roll the ball to me by giving me a turn to roll it back to you. So that's how this activity, this handout is meant to be used. So for the toddlers and the 3-year-old. So in the chat box, what example do you have? What toy are you using for a toddler? And what is a toddler doing with the toy? And how is it that you are able to extend on that learning on while the toddler is playing with the that specific toy?
Okay, we have the example of
Mm-hmm.
a toddler kicking a ball.
A toddler picking up a ball.
And so kicking a ball, toddler kicking a ball, and that is enhancing his gross motor skills.
Yes, yes. Enhancing his growth. So how is the teachers moving from gross motor to another skill, scaffolding or guiding the play?
Okay, so bouncing the ball with the teacher. Or the teacher
So
can
the
show the
teacher,
teacher how to bounce the ball.
so the teacher proceed by bouncing the ball. So now the child is learning, the toddler is learning not only you can kick the ball, but you can also bounce the ball. And also social skills being facilitating or
Okay.
thank you. Thank you for sharing. So this is how we're going to use, this is how this handout is meant to be used. As you put out an object out for a child to play, you have an idea how the child is playing with it, and then you enhance the child's playing by guiding the play and adding another way that the child is able to use the object to play or to find another way of playing with the object. Okay. Again, thank you for participating, and hopefully this handout will be useful to you. Is there any another example? Or we can carry on?
Let's see, there was, okay, yeah, let's go back because there is another example. Hold on. So I have a participant that said shape sorter. Okay, shape sorter, hand-eye coordination.
Okay.
Right, skills that are enhanced and built, spatial awareness, fine motor, and it can be enhanced with language and naming of the shapes. Excellent. Wow,
Excellent.
great
Yes.
example. Thank you.
Thank you
That is
for participating. Thank you for sharing with us. So
absolutely.
we encourage you to use those handouts to enhance the way you plan your lessons, your activities, and on a daily basis, and they are very helpful. And our next poll number 3. These stages of play describe the developmental sequence of play skills, and there is no other component of play. Is that a true or false statement?
That sounds familiar.
Yes.
I think you reviewed that today.
We reviewed that today. We reviewed that today.
Let's go. Did it launch? Yes. Okay, true or false?
True or false?
All right, let's see. Everyone voting? Okay,
Close.
lots
Yes,
of
we're
people
gonna
voting.
close. Mm-hmm.
Couple more seconds.
We close, and
Here we go. Close and sharing. All right. What is the answer, Natasha?
it is false because there is other component of play.
What was the other component? the other component?
We talked about it,
Mhm. Oh, I think I remember.
and that is
Social aspect.
aspect of
Yes.
play.
Yes, the social aspect of play. Yes, we have a participant said no, it's false in the chat box. Thank you.
Yes, the social aspect of play. We reviewed it.
Absolutely. All right.
Thank you for sharing.
Thanks everyone for
Thank
sharing.
you for participating.
Mhm.
And now we're going to go to and watch a video about the play equal learning. And it is by one of a researcher and author, Kathy Hirsch. Please watch and we will discuss it when we come back. So this interview pretty much provided us with an overview of what we talked about in regards to guided play and directed play and making it meaningful. That's what making it meaningful, making it fun for children and not boring. And that's how they're going to be able to retain and learn. Because they also talked about the fact that while when children are learning or playing, they don't see it as work. So we make it fun for them to pretty much learn through fun play. Thank you. So as we just saw the video, this is Miss Kathy is one of the author or researcher that came with the core skill for success, the 6 C's that we will see. This type scientist, she's a top scientist that models to describe the key element of the core skill needed for success. That is the 6 C's: collaboration, communication, content, critical thinking, creative innovation, and confidence. These 6 elements provide a really nice model for thinking about how to support children's learning through play in the classroom. So we're going to look at each C's individually, and the next one is going to be the core skill, and this is a book, Becoming Brilliant. She also wrote and co-wrote with Roberta McInnish, which is the Becoming Brilliant Scientist, and that's a great book and resource that we're not saying that you need to purchase it, but it's a great book to read, talking about the raising up children in the 21st century. It says just how it is important that the children that we are raising right now, they're going to be the adults taking care of us um, in the next century. So how we raise them is important, and how we build them, how we teach them, how we provide them with content is important. Knowing that they are going to be the next adult, like the ones to oversee everything after we grow old. So collaboration is the first C, because forming relationship with others, working in team, and being part of a community is a key foundation for all learning that will follow. When we roll a ball back and forth on the floor, even if it's for a 14-month-old, it seems like rolling the ball back and forth. You are building collaboration. When you open your arm for a hug, read a book together, or clap your hands and patty cake with a toddler, you are building collaborating skills. And when together you navigate how to get the food from a plate into a child's mouth instead of the table or floor, you are helping your child learn to control the impulse to just smoosh that food and to create a hamburger or a rain shower. Collaboration is a skill include managing emotions, sharing and taking turns, sharing ideas and feelings, and being considerate. Collaboration includes everything that is working with others entails, whether you are an adult or a child. The ability to manage one's emotion and reaction in order to get along with peers and adults, the ability to share and take turns, the ability to share one's idea and feelings effectively, and the ability to take others' thoughts, feelings, and ideas into consideration. In short, collaboration requires a lot of work in the prefrontal cortex of self-regulate and engage all other important executive functions that we have talked in the past.
Is it my turn?
Yes. So
Yay!
we'll move on to communication.
Excellent. Thank you, Natasha, for sharing all that
Thank
information with us. That was a lot. You always give us so much information that when it's my turn, everyone's like, oh, we still have
I
more?
apologize.
Oh my goodness. Very good.
Apologize.
All right, everyone. So we will continue now with communication. And communication is built on collaboration. After all, you have to have someone to talk to if you're going to communicate, right? And communication includes everything from making your wants known or your needs known, like pointing, jumping, or using words, to listening when others are talking, um, which is, of course, a rare event in toddlerhood, right? So it depends, keep in mind those developmental stages of children. It also includes mastering language with rich vocabulary, right? Or even two languages with rich vocabulary, depending on your experiences, right? So children need to be effective communicators to be successful in all aspects of life. Because good communication is not just about the ability to express oneself clearly in sounds and gestures for our little ones and in words for older children, but it is also about being a good listener. So this means turning it into in tune with others' thoughts and feelings, which is also an important social emotional skills. Young children need support and guidance to develop strong communication skills so that they can be good play partners. When young children are not able to tune into others' thoughts and feelings or to express themselves clearly, collaborative play is a bit challenging. And when children have trouble with communication, they often have a hard time entering into play to share their activities or ideas and negotiate with others. They may just barge in an effort to get involved and may be perceived as bullies sometimes, or they may cope by avoiding play with peers and prefer to play on their own. So you can see how the ability to communicate has a significant effect on children's social, emotional, and cognitive development. Children who have difficulty communicating miss opportunities to build peer relationships and engage in the kind of collaborative play that we know builds critical thinking skills as well. So when we see children having a hard time communicating their feelings and ideas, it is important for caring adults to step in and respond compassionately by providing modeling and scaffolding to support this important learning. Okay, the next C is content. Content is key and is built from collaboration and communication. Children do learn better when they read a book with a nurturing adult as part of a bedtime routine. And they learn from popular and friendly parasocial characters, which is why 3-year-olds learn to count from the Sesame Street characters, the count, right? So, but learning about stuff is not all there is. The babies and toddlers are natural explorers who also need to learn how to focus their attention and to flexibly move from one activity to the other. And these, of course, are executive functioning skills, which you might remember from our other units. And babies and toddlers learn these when they sit quietly concentrating on a book or when they focus while building a high tower of blocks. Even learning how to work with an adult while stirring the brownie mix, for example, is teaching attention and learning to learn skills. So for those of you who were with us in the unit of cognition, we did explore the many ways children learn new skills and concepts. Making sense of developmentally appropriate content is critical for engaging effectively in play. Through play and exploration, children learn about the characteristics and functions of objects as well as relationships, experiences, and motivations. Through play, children have the chance to build on and deepen their existing knowledge. For example, to engage in a pretend play scenario around taking care of animals, children need a foundational understanding of what animals do, for example, what they eat, or how they behave. Through play, children may have new questions about animals or come up with new ideas, such as that small animals eat small amounts of food. So there are many opportunities for teachers to build on the content that children show an interest in by following their lead, by adding language, by offering new props. Remember we had that in the poll, or sharing new information that may stimulate new directions in the play. Okay, time for our next poll, everyone. You ready? Ready, Natasha?
Yes, I'm ready.
Here we go. And the poll reads, collaboration requires a lot of work in the prefrontal cortex to self-regulate and engage all the executive functioning skills. That should sound very familiar. I think we kind of just went over that a little bit. You ready? All right, help me with this, Natasha. I'm gonna launch
Yeah,
it. See what
lunch.
happens.
We're gonna close.
A few seconds. Collecting responses. Oh, I think
You were.
even at 8:11 at night on a Monday, they're on the
they,
ball. They're paying
they are
attention. This
they are
group
alert
is,
and ready.
oh my goodness, this group is awesome. All right,
Yes,
everyone, go ahead and close it. Thank you for voting, and
it
we
is.
will share. Okay.
Yay!
What? What?
Alert.
Love it.
Yes.
Thanks, everyone. Yes, collaboration does require a lot of work in the prefrontal cortex to self-regulate and engage all the executive functioning skills. This is a true statement, okay? We just went over that. Thank you, everyone, for participating in that poll. Okay, we're going to continue. The next C is critical thinking. So, critical thinking is the way that we sift through mountains of content. And yes, even our toddlers can do a bit of critical thinking. And let's look at what that looks like. Critical thinking entails the objective analysis of a situation to come up with the best way to approach the problem at hand. So even little ones can do that. It involves considering different possible viewpoints or perspectives and being open to alternative explanations when there's a strong evidence that these are more accurate. What part of the brain is working on critical thinking? I think we just reviewed it in that poll, Natasha.
We
Yep,
did.
we're right. The prefrontal cortex.
Prefrontal.
So play helps build these critical thinking skills. There are many problems that arise that need solving during play. Children have to figure out things such as how to get the block structure stable enough so it doesn't keep falling, or how to turn the puzzle pieces until you can find the correct space. Teachers can facilitate the development of critical thinking by asking children for their ideas about why something is happening, such as why the water spills out of the bucket when they drop a toy into it. We're asking children to find other ways they might try to solve a problem when what they are doing is not working. Okay, so it can start as early as 12 months and expands with our scaffolding. Remember that? All right, so the next C is creative innovation. Creative innovation happens when children start to put things together in new ways to make a toy out of blocks. Like this little one that's using a plastic bowl as a hat, right? How cute is that? You've seen that, I'm sure. Creative innovation is the ability to use information in new ways to solve problems. You can see how this is strongly connected to critical thinking. It's through the process of critical thinking that children come up with creative solutions. So the first step to nurturing creative innovation is avoiding solving children's problems, okay? So I know as a teacher, many of us, I'm not gonna say all of us, but many of us kind of, uh, try to, help children by solving the problem, but that's really not helping them be creative, right? And come up with solutions on their own. Problems present the greatest opportunities for learning. Keep that in mind. When you provide the answer, it is a missed opportunity for children to become critical thinkers and innovators. It also inadvertently sends the message that you don't think they can solve the problem using their own skills and abilities, that they're not able to, which brings us to the next C, which is confidence. Confidence is something we must help our children learn when they approach the stairs, for example. Do we teach them never to go near the stairs? Or we make sure that we're there to support them and make sure that someone is there to help them out. Okay, we want to make sure that children are confident, right? they need to feel confident that they can solve those challenges that they encounter as they explore the world around them, whether it's a difficult puzzle, joining a new classroom, or deciding who gets to be the king for the castle during free play. Children who feel confident are more likely to power through challenges both now and in the future. Okay, just like Natasha was saying from that video, we're preparing these children for the future. They're the ones that are going to be, the new generation, right? This type of persistence builds a sense of resilience and grit. A growing body of research shows that the ability to stick with a task, even when it is challenging, is a critical component of success in school far, far into the future. All right, everyone, and I think this is our final poll, if I'm not mistaken, Natasha. I
It
think.
is our final poll.
Oh, thank goodness, because everyone's going to be like, what, another poll? How many polls does this training have? Like 10? What's going on here? Nah, but it is important that we, kind of help, all our participants kind of connect the information that we are reviewing, because we are reviewing a lot of information, right?
Indeed.
Okay, so here we go. And this one is, which one of the following is not a core skill in the stages of play? Okay, which one is not a core skill in the stages of play? Okay, so I launched it. Is it A, collaboration, B, content, C, communication, D, critical thinking, E, criticism?
Hmm.
That's that's not tricky. Everyone should get this one, Natasha. Okay? So don't even say that I try to trick everyone, because it's not so. All right, I
It is
think
a
we're
C.
good. We're gonna close.
Yes.
All righty, here we go. Thanks everyone for voting. Oh, lots of people voted. Okay, interesting. Okay, which one is not a core skill? Okay, closing, sharing. Here we go, everyone. I
Yay.
think we did pretty good on this one.
Yes.
I think we did pretty good. Look at that. Wow. Okay, so though we still had a few that,
They caught on to
so
you.
some others, but okay. So I think maybe, the reading of the question following is not a core skill. So we reviewed collaboration, content, communication, critical thinking. Criticism is actually the right answer. Okay, criticism, E. That is not a core skill in the stages of play. All right, everyone? Excellent. Well, thank you for participating in that poll. And I promise no more polls. Let's keep going. All right, so this was a video that we were going to share, but we're not, because it's a rather lengthy video, and I shared with Natasha that it really didn't make sense for us to cut it in half or cut it in thirds. But I do recommend that you log into YouTube, and there is the link for it. I do recommend that you watch this, because it kind of recaps everything we talked about, including those important skills that children need to succeed in the 21st century, because that's what we're talking about today. It's not just what we're doing for our young children, our young preschoolers, but of course we know that all the effective and positive interactions that we have with them in our preschool classrooms, they're going to take those skills, right? We are actually arming them with those tools that they need to be successful in near future, right? In the elementary years, middle school, high school years, and then beyond. So for sure, I recommend that you all watch this video. It is very, very informative. Okay, it's called Skills Every Child Will Need to Succeed in the 21st Century. It is a TED Talk video. So those of you who are familiar with TED Talk, you know that many of the conversations and information that is shared through TED Talk videos are very, very good. All right, everyone. So, I love to share books. These are great books that will encourage children to play. Did the slide turn or no? Is it frozen? Natasha, do you see the books?
Yes, I'm able to see him.
Okay, good. Okay, so these are books that, will encourage children's imagination, like going on a bear hunt, right? So you can do the role playing, what to do with the box, the wheels on the bus, flashlight, which is great. A lot of things that you can see with the flashlight, and then things that you cannot see, things in the dark, right? Can I play two? And of course, not a stick, the one that is very fun to read with the kids, right? And these, again, we're not encouraging, to get these books, but these are just examples that you can have in the classroom to kind of encourage that creativity and imaginative play. Okay. Of course, we always have available teacher resources, and these are also some great resource books for teachers on play. There's sensory play, playing practice, rest, play, and grow, making sense of preschoolers. Really good stuff. Okay, so you can probably go to the library and pick some of these up. Of course, NACE has a lot of really good publications. A Child's Work is really good. Fantasy Play at 4. Bad Guys Don't Have Birthdays is from the point of view of young children. And Exploring Play and Invitations to Play. So just some examples of some resource books that are great for teachers to kind of guide you with that planning and mindfulness, right, when you are preparing your activities for the children. These are some of the resources used for this presentation, the handouts. I'll make sure that you download the handouts, as Natasha mentioned in the beginning of the session. Okay, and of course the other three being number one, because they created this presentation, and of course NACE. Can't go wrong with NACE. Okay, and as we are winding down towards the end of today's session, we just want to recap some of the key messages about play for our work as caregivers, right? People who are very important in the children's lives, right? So number one, play builds children's capacities in all areas of development. Again, we have to be mindful of the different stages of development that our children are at, right? And that individualized learning will make sure that we are providing exactly what those children need, right? Based on observations and really intentional planning. Number two, children benefit from free play with no adult scaffolding and guided play. Okay, free play and guided play. Okay, very important that they have a balance of both. The adult's goal is to support the children's testing of ideas and coming up with their own solutions. Okay, so when we participate in the play, the goal really should not be to give the answers to the children, remember that, or the solutions, but to really support their innovative thinking, right, and problem solving skills. Remember, the strategy, it really does help nurture important executive functioning skills, that is critical thinking and creative innovation. Okay, so just make sure that we're there, we guide, we support, and we provide those interesting and fun opportunities for learning. So in closing, there is a handout, 7.3, in your participant guide as well, and it is reflection and application. And we just want to make sure that you are aware of it and how important it is that you do use it. It's just basically 3 ideas that you took away and 3 plans that you really have to be more mindful and more intentional with play in your classroom. Okay, so it's just a way of you planning to make changes, reflecting on your practice, and just making sure that what you are providing for the children is the best possible environment and with the best possible opportunities that they have to grow and to learn. Make sure you look at it. It's 7.3. Okay, make sure that you fill that out. It's just a self-reflection sheet, right? So how you reflecting on what you learned, and then you plan on how you're going to apply what you learn in your practice. And this may look like the reflection activity we had in the beginning, but it's a little different. And it reads, children need to play, to be adaptable, to construct knowledge, to problem solve, to learn, to create, to process emotions, to internalize experiences, to discover, to challenge, to be healthy. To challenge themselves, to be healthy, to laugh and have fun, to learn to work together, to imagine, learn to lead, to express their ideas, to explore, to speak, read, write, and count, to develop an inquiring mind, to manage stress, because play matters. Okay, and going back to that first quote that Natasha shared with us in the beginning of the session today, it's work to our kids, right? It's work to our children. They are really, putting their all into it. So we have to make sure that we put our all into those interactions. Okay, so it's a challenge. We are challenging you. I think that is important to acknowledge the great work that you all do in the classroom with the children, but to also say, okay, how are we going to push ourselves, right? How are we going to think outside the box? How are we going to be creative? And how are we going to adapt, right, to new ways of instruction? How are we going to be innovative in our strategies and our practice? So we're going to challenge you today. And to kind of finish off the session for today, we just want to share this very, very quick video, and it is, what is 21st century education? Okay, so 1 second while I launch it. There we go. All right. Little short video there, but a very powerful message. I'm sure you will agree. So both Natasha and I really just want to, again, take the opportunity to acknowledge everything that you do with the children, but at the same time, challenge all the teachers out there, because, the responsibility that we have to really prepare our children for the future is incredible. It's a huge, huge task. So I think, that it is important that everyone takes on that responsibility and is mindful really of the impact that we have on our children's lives now and in the future. What do you think about that, Natasha?
Well, I would like to thank them and telling and applaud them and following. For those of you who have been in our series of the growing brain is really amazing. It's with this journey, knowing that you are so interested about your job and want to know about your children that you are serving, the children that you are teaching and how they learned. And that's why you end up in this session of 7 weeks of 14 weeks
14 weeks.
growing brain to really get to know how the children's brain are operating and how they're learning. So that's the step, right, Anna?
Absolutely.
Into the
Absolutely.
21st century. So changing your teaching method and becoming a 21st century educator. But we ask, like you said, Anna, we're challenging you some more to
Mhm.
continue that learning journey and pushing yourself to see what is it that you need to change in your classroom and your practice in order for to build that foundation that you have already started.
Absolutely. And
Yes.
on that note, we want to mention, as Natasha said earlier, that we just wanted to share with everyone if you took part in several of the units or all of the units and you want to share the same information with your colleagues, we will be setting up another cohort of the growing brain for those of you who are interested. So log into the ELC Broward website, make sure that you register, and we would love to have you. All right,
Yes,
excellent.
indeed.
All right, so we're coming to the end, everyone. So again, as Natasha mentioned earlier, the importance of 0 to 3, what a great organization it is, and all the great work that they are doing in the early childhood field. Please log in to 0to3.org to get more information on all the programs that they have available and the resources as well. Make sure, as we mentioned earlier a couple of times, to download the handouts. Remember that your certificate will be emailed to you after the training, and that you will have a post-test and a survey at the conclusion of this session, okay? We would love to hear from you. We would love to hear your thoughts about the Growing Brain series, about any of the units in particular, of how, the strategies that you are using in the classroom are working for you. Please email us, to reach out to us. We would love to hear your thoughts. Okay. So again, if you haven't put any questions in the question box, please do so now. If not, again, you can email us. And with that, we want to say
Thank you.
thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are awesome. We thank you. For those of you who did participate in the whole series with us, and I'm sure several of you did, we really appreciate you. And for those of you who did not, again, we will be providing another cohort starting very, very soon. So with that, we say thank you, everyone. You are so important in these children's lives. Everything that you do matters. So you have to be intentional. You have to be mindful of your interactions. And remember that children react to our actions. I tell my teachers that all the time. So we have to be great role models, and I'm sure most of you are. So I have some comments on the chat box. Someone really enjoyed this series. Use it to encourage your teachers to do more content reading with real books for critical thinking and creative innovations. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. I love to hear that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. We love to hear that you enjoyed it and you took some information away. Again, I was mentioning earlier to one of our managers how a lot of this content may sound familiar, but it is presented in a totally different way. It really does make you think. So someone else said that was interesting and important. So thank you. Thank you all for participating. Anything else, Natasha? I think we're over by a couple minutes. I think we're good. All right, everyone. So with that, I say thank you again and hope to see you soon. Please register at ELC Broward website for the other sessions that we have coming up also. There's other great trainings that are available. So please make sure that you log in and register for those great trainings that are provided for the teachers and directors, okay? Thank you.
Thank you,
All right,
Anna.
Natasha.
It's good
Yes,
to note that your neurons on the thank you slide is blossoming flowers on
they
the last.
are. Did you like it? I'm hoping that everyone's neurons blossomed into a
Yes.
beautiful flower garden, right? With all the
Mhm.
knowledge that we shared. Thank
Yes.
you.
But
Thank you for acknowledging
continuous.
my slide.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, everyone. With that, we thank you. Stay safe, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
All righty.
Good
Thanks,
night.
Natasha. It was
Good
good.
night.
It was great. All right. Good night, everyone.